Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today is a video which I've really been looking forward to doing for you for a little while. I've done videos like this in the past where I've told you of the sort of 10 things which I can't live without. But of course, just like you, my life is on an evolutionary journey. And whilst there are some products which I stick with and have been with me for many years, I uncover new little treasures, little discoveries, which make my life easier. Because believe me, the journey to Chap Nirvana is a long, winding and challenging one. And if you're like me, you often fall back on those comfortable, reliable, steady performing items as you go through life, which just help you along the way. Now, I've reviewed many of the items today on this channel, and actually I stand by every single item that I'm going to talk about. There is nothing here today which is sponsored content. All of the products you see are mine alone, and they are in my everyday usage. And as the title of this thumbnail told you, these are the items that I simply could not live without. Now, the first item I'm going to talk about is actually an item of clothing, and it is something that I'm wearing right now. It is the good old utility or chore jacket, because let's be honest, it's horses for courses in this life. And whilst when we talk about men's style, the image which is conjured in the mind is of a well-dressed gentleman, often wearing a suit, a tie, a collar. You know, you get that impression. But the reality is my lifestyle does not meet that expectation. As you can see, I live in a predominantly rural area. And whilst I love dressing up, putting on that blazer and tie, which is my preferred outfit when I am trying to look smart, the truth is, for most of my life, I need something which is more practical. And in recent years, I have defaulted to what is now becoming a whole genre of men's style, that of the chore jacket, which is what I would describe as just a little bit more urbane than wearing something like a sweatshirt or a hoodie or a denim jacket. The chore jacket or utility jacket, whatever you want to call it, just offers that little element of class, little touch of individual style. I've got numerous chore jackets, which I often wear. The one I'm wearing now is quite simply, I think it's called an everyday sort of utility jacket by the British department store John Lewis. It costs £45. I've got several of these in different colours. It is in essence just a simple cotton canvas construction, unlined. It's almost like an overshirt, which you can wear over other clothing. It just looks a little smarter. It's a little more practical. They're not expensive. And I just love them because they fit my lifestyle so well. So I couldn't live without them, really. Now, the next item that I can't live without is something which I have reviewed on the channel and is probably featured in videos like this in the past, because I have owned this utility bag for about 3 or 4 years now. And the reality is, my life is a constant succession of challenges that I need to overcome, be they in the outdoors, in the more sort of more urban world, and as a result I like to have a bag in which I can carry the items that I can't fit in my pocket. And this canvas and leather composite bag by American brand Nutsack just works a treat for me. Now, it is the Taxac 13 model, and it's made of, as you can see, a sort of waxed cotton canvas, but also with many leather accents, leather reinforced at the bottom. A lot of the furniture on it, the closure is in a good solid leather, aging well, patinaing well. What I love about it, it's big enough for me so I can fit my 13-inch MacBook Air in here, no trouble at all, as well as things like my glasses and other bits and pieces, pens and torches, whatever else I need. It's got a little a component section where you can slot things in, and I've got a small additional bag in there which allows me to keep pens, cables and things like that all in one place. It's got lots of little hidden areas where you can put additional items here as well, in the front and on the back. It's got a good solid shoulder strap, which you can clip on or off using these sort of, carabiner type things. So if you want to carry it as a briefcase, you can. There's a nice leather reinforced handle, but also if you just want to sling it over the shoulder, it's perfect. I can fit all that I need in here without it being unwieldy or too large, and yet it still maintains that utility appearance, which is getting better over time as the canvas ages and the leather ages. I think this cost about $200 US. American company, ships throughout the world. I've really connected with this brand. It works perfectly for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to many years ahead with the old nutsack. Now the next product, which I can't live without, and I have reviewed this on the channel, and it always features in these videos, it is my CCO Sport in aluminium, and it is effectively a little folding pen, fountain pen, because I love using an analog mechanism for recording my thoughts, planning my day. I use a Leuchtturm journal, which has got great quality paper in it, by the way. Could easily have featured in this 10 things I can't live without. If it was 11, it would. But when I write, I like to use the connection between brain and hand. And for me, there's nothing that can deliver that experience quite like a fountain pen. Now, I've dallied with numerous folding pens over the last few years, but the one I keep reaching for is the good old CCO Sport. Now this one's in aluminium, but they come in a variety of different materials. You can have brass and steel and so on, but aluminium for me just gives me the right level of toughness whilst still having quite an attractive appearance. So it's got everything going on. Beautiful nib. I have a broad nib because I like quite a flowing, wet hand when I write. And CCO's become quite popular in recent years. I've got a number of CCO pens, but the reality is, oh, here's one of my mates. The reality is the pen just works so well. It never lets you down. It doesn't leak. You can just tuck it in your pocket and it's there when you need it. And it delivers just a fine writing experience. This one cost about, oh, another friend. This one cost about 100 euros, but you can get the plastic versions for about £20. They are, without doubt, for me, an indispensable part of my daily activities, having a nice pen which just delivers. So the CCO Sport in aluminium, I couldn't live without it. Now the next item which I couldn't live without, and it's with me all the time as I reach into my pocket to draw it out, is this little pocket penknife, and it is a windmill penknife by British company Heine Haynes, and it's quite simple, quite inexpensive, costs, I think it was £19, so it's very basic. It's not like these really fancy ones which people have with Damascus steel. It's this simple, good quality stainless steel. It's got a pocket clip on it, so it's ideal for slipping into the pocket at the beginning of the day, and you know where it is when you need it to cut a piece of string or open a parcel, which, let's be honest, is the things I normally do, but sometimes out here in the woods I cut other things as well, and it never fails to deliver. Now it's got the sheep's foot blade, which is quite safe, quite easy to operate, but it also has a nice and tough scissors, which also works when you need it to. Good, nice quality. I do like this one. It's very modest in price. It is UK legal carry, which is its big advantage because nobody wants to break the law by accident. And that means it's got a non-locking blade, which is, in this case, I just want to check, 7.4 centimeters in length. I think the legal limit is 7.62 centimeters, 3 inches. So, always there when you need it. I can tell you how tough this is. I've had this one about 3 years, use it every single day. I bought one for my son, who's a scout. He's had it away with him on expeditions, uses it at all his scout activities, and it just absorbs punishment. And for 19 British pounds, I think that is a bloody bargain. And it's always in my pocket, so I couldn't live without it. Now, one thing which I know always attracts attention is the watch that a gentleman chooses to wear on a daily basis. And my preferred watch over the last few months, now I've gone off, I used to be quite a Rolex fan. I owned a number of Rolex watches, I still do actually, but the fact is I've kind of soured to the Rolex brand because of their overexposure in social media, in the press, the negative connotations about, lack of supply, criminals targeting people who wear Rolex watches. So I kind of gravitated away from them, and over the last few months, the watch I've been wearing this summer has been this Nevada Grecian Depth Master. I've owned this watch over 3 years. I didn't wear it a great deal in the first couple of years, but just recently I've had it on my wrist and it has absolutely been killing it. It does everything I want to in a nice compact package, 39 millimeters with a bit of a cushion case. It's got a 120 click stainless steel bezel, which works exquisitely, black dial with white markers, which are absolutely chock full of luminescence. It's got a date complication on it as well, which is handy. Screw down crown with 1,000 meters of water resistance. It's even got a helium escape valve on the side. So if you are a saturation diver, it's not going to happen in my life, you have the ability to take it to the depths with you. Inside this watch beats a Soprod Swiss-made movement, which is quite robust. I think it's, how long? Has it got a 38-hour power reserve? And the watch is made of 316L stainless steel. It's a really good performing watch. Price point, 995 British pounds. I've put it onto this rubber Zulu diver strap. It came with a leather strap, but you can stipulate whatever strap you want. But this one, it just works for me. And whatever you're doing, my son wore this watch when we were on holiday in Oman recently, and we went snorkeling, we were in the pool, crikey, 4 or 5 hours every day, and this watch, I think, outperformed my Rolex Submariner. And the reason I would say that, I was wearing a Submariner myself, and you're constantly aware that you're wearing an expensive watch. You worry about it a little bit, even subconsciously. You're thinking about that watch on your wrist, which costs, a couple of months' wages. A watch like this, although not cheap, at around about £1,000, it is much less of a burden on your mind. So for me, this Nevada Grecian Depth Master, absolutely, I can't live without it. Okay, the next item, which I actually in the last year come round to, I never bought one before, and it is the AirPods Pro by Apple. Now, I was one of these guys, I didn't think I needed these, I was somebody who thought, well, I can get by without, anything like this. I've never liked in-ear headphones, to be honest, but my son convinced me I needed to buy these last summer. We were going on holiday to Greece. I was looking forward to reading, but also listening to a few podcasts and talking books. And my son said, bite the bullet, Dad, and buy yourself some AirPods. Now, I sort of balked at the price, £229. This is the latest evolution. I think these are the second generation model. But I thought, well, let's give them a go. I don't buy things like this very often. Totally revolutionized the way I listen to music. Totally immersive experience with the sound cancelling headphones. Also, talking books, podcasts. It really just opened my eyes to the possibilities. Because as somebody who walks a lot, I go for walks every day, and I just used to enjoy nature. Now, I can have a talking book or a podcast accompanying me on these walks. So I walk longer and I learn when I'm out and about. And of course, in addition to that, things like working at my desk. If I want to make a phone call and I want to keep writing, I pop these in, and the microphone and the connectivity. I've got an iPhone 15 Pro. The connectivity just works so well. Also with my desktop, I've got a Mac, an iMac. I've got a MacBook Air, an iPad. Everything is in Apple in my house. It just seamlessly connects, and it works so well. So I couldn't live without them now. Thought I could, but actually it opened my eyes. Okay, let's step away from the sort of technical stuff and let's talk about personal hygiene, because that's important too. Now, for many years I have enjoyed the fragrance Tabak by German company Morin Wirtz. I didn't like them originally. I used to think that their fragrance was a little feminine, to be honest. I thought it was a little floral. But actually, over time, I have deeply come to enjoy, oh, this is an unopened one. I have deeply come to enjoy pretty much everything that tobacco can be purchased in, from shower gel right through to shave cream and aftershave and, you know, eau de toilette. But my favourite thing in the range is the Deodorant Stick. It just delivers the perfect combination of beautifully masculine fragrance, which is citrusy with a subtle hint of florality, which just works so well for me. I do tend to suffer with sensitivity with many stick deodorants. Tobacco works perfectly, doesn't cause me any irritation at all. And the fragrance, that citrus floral fragrance, which is, you know, timelessly masculine, it just really works. It just lasts throughout the whole day. And every so often, you know, you might move and it'll, you know, you get a whiff of the fragrance and it just works so well. Cheers me up. That's the way I want people to think when they smell me entering a room. If they smell me entering a room, I want there to be positivity around that fragrance, not, you know, people wrinkling their noses. So tobacco deodorant stick, which costs about £8 for one of these. I buy them in bundles of 3 from Amazon, and they're not expensive at all, bought in that way. But if you buy them singly, they're about £8. They last a good while, and they just deliver. So couldn't live without this one. Now, on that subject, fragrance is really important to me. I want people, when they meet me, to perceive me with a pleasant fragrance memory. And so I like to choose my fragrance every day. I got a big collection, but there are some which I go back to all of the time. And the fragrance that I can't live with doesn't exist, because I've got 2. One for the summer, one for the cooler months. Now, in the summer months, as I am now, my all-time favourite fragrance is still Dunhill Edition, a 1984 release by House of Dunhill. It is citrusy, slightly smoky, but ultimately very masculine. Very affordable, £28 for 100 millilitres. I do buy these and stockpile them because I'm terribly worried that Dunhill are going to discontinue producing this at some point. But I think it's firmly established in their range. And for such an affordable price point, it just works so well. Now, it's not overpowering. It's a light, subtle, woodsy, citrusy, smoky fragrance, which is so masculine, works so well. Came from the mid-1980s, it works well today. Can't live without it in the summer months, but in the winter months, I prefer something a bit stronger. And then I opt for Chanel Antaeus, which was released in, I think, 1981. It is one of the classic powerhouse fragrances from the 1980s. Boom. As soon as I smell this, it's like stepping into a time machine. It takes me back to the 1980s. It is a velvety, smooth, rich, powerful, aromatic fragrance, which just shouts 1980s alpha male. I love it. It is a little daunting if you're not used to these butch, masculine fragrances from that era, but for me, it is just the jewel in the Chanel range. I hope they never discontinue this. It's been around a long time. It is such an Arnold Schwarzenegger of a fragrance. Now, you may not like that, but for me, I can't live without it. Okay, we're getting there. Only a couple to go. And staying on the personal hygiene section, I thought to myself, I'd like to talk about something which I shave with, because I shave with a double-edged razor every single day. So enjoying that experience is really important to me. And I have used just about every type of shave cream, shave soap, super slick oil over the years on my journey to shaving nirvana. And I've had some really high points, not many low points. To be honest, they all work fairly well if you use them with some skill. However, over the years, there's one product which has won out. And it's not this container, it's what's inside it, because this is Mitchell's Woolfat soap, shave soap. Now, it's actually just a refill that I've got in here. This is an old shave cream container from, I don't know, Taylor's of Old Bond Street or something. So I bought one of their shave soap refills and popped it in here. That way, it only costs about £8. They seem to last forever as well, Mitchell's Wool Fat Soap. So what's the big deal with them? Well, basically, yes, they've got a lovely, subtle, fresh fragrance, but it is the composition of the soap itself. It's got a history which goes back into the early 1900s, where basically it was made by a company in an area where the predominant industry was working with wool, cutting fleeces off sheep and processing it into commercial wool. And it was discovered that the people who worked in that industry, they had excellent skin. The skin on their hands was soft and wonderful. And over time, people realized it was the lanolin, the natural wool fat which is found in wool, which was causing that. So Mitchell's created a shave soap, and other soaps as well. They make other types of soap, but their shave soap has a high content of lanolin. And I find that with prolonged use of this, shaving this, the lanolin content does something to my skin. It makes it softer, more supple, keeps it moisturized. And for about £8 for one refill, which I've had this for about 4 months and it hardly seems to have made a dent on it, it is such a prudent purchase. So Mitchell's Wool Fat Soap, when it comes to shaving, it's the one product which has revolutionized the way that I look after my skin when I run a razor over it. So whether you shave your face, your head, or other parts of your body that I don't want to know about, give it a try. Okay folks, we've been on a long and winding journey, but we are finally here. The 10th item that I can't live without. You can see what it is. It is the traditional Barber Jacket, a waxed cotton canvas outdoor utility garment, which I have been wearing these for years, and for very good reason. They are just perfect for the lifestyle that I lead. But as well as being totally at home in the countryside, actually the Barber Jacket is something which is urbane enough to wear in the middle of London over a three-piece suit. And in this country, I can't speak for other countries, but the Barber Jacket is a symbol of quality and style. The royal family wear them, the man in the street wears them, and the farmer toiling in his field wears the same garment. They're fairly affordable. This is a Barber Beaufort jacket, so one of their classic collection, made in the UK to a very high standard, and it has been for many years. This jacket, this particular model, was released in 1983, and it was designed by Dame Margaret Barber herself. And it has been in continuous production ever since, and I'm pretty sure there are models from 1983 out there that are still going strong. Because the beauty of Barber, it's very repairable. The factory has a full refurbishment program, and it can be re-waxed. So every year, if you want to re-wax it, you can do it at home. You can send it into the factory. They will do it for you. You will have a garment which can take on the elements year after year. And in fact, I prefer them when they get a little bit of patina and they look like they've got a few miles under their belt. I think they look their very best. But I love the Beaufort model. There are many different types, but the Beaufort model for me hits the sweet spot because it's not too long. It comes below the hips. It's got good utility pockets. It's got just the right weight. It's got that instantly recognizable Barber tartan on the inside, which is heavy enough to keep me warm in the fairly temperate winters we have here in the UK. But if it turns really chilly, you can have a lining which zips into it as well, which you can wear pretty much, sub 20, sub 30 minus degrees Celsius. Pretty solid performer. With that classic corduroy collar, you can't mistake the Barber Jacket wherever you are. So for me, I look forward to the autumn every year when I can pull my Barber out of storage and get out there and enjoy the elements wearing something which I know will take care of me into the many, many years ahead, yet still affords me that classically stylish appearance wherever I may be. So, folks, chaps, there we are. those were the 10 items, right now anyway, that I don't think I could live without. They're interesting. There's writing instruments and, technology and personal hygiene items and a bag and a coat and a jacket. Everything out there which I need to navigate my journey to Chap Nirvana. Tell me what you use and makes your journey that little easier. So, until the next time, take care of yourselves, folks. Don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe, drop me a comment by comments below or email. Support the channel by buying me a coffee. You can even become a patron and join me on my journey to our ultimate Chap Nirvana destination. So until the next time, take care, and I'll see you again very soon.